So there is actually one plant-based stock out there that I would say is under the radar in the form of valuation and stock price. And that company and stock is Good Natured. They have a lot of potential and have gotten some extremely good results in the last couple of months. And that's what we're going to talk about today. If we haven't met yet, this is the PlantStock channel. Welcome, and my name is Jesse. If we have, then welcome back. And as always, I would truly appreciate an early thumbs up since it does help spread the video to more people. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, think about doing that. If you're interested in plant-based companies like Beyond Meat, Good Natured, the Very Good Food Company, and Tattoo Chef, to name a few, that's the kind of things I talk about. So make sure to subscribe and don't forget that bell button. Thank you, folks. I truly appreciate your help. Now, if we take a look at the stock chart, ticker symbol GDNP, and has actually an equivalent in the OTC version in an American dollars. We can see the last 6 months, it's been a roller coaster, right? And it recently, I think it was in November, they actually IPO'd. And we can see that back in February, it went up to almost $2, and then it's been traveling down ever so slightly. And I must say, the last couple of weeks is basically, or months, it's basically been trading sideways. And we have an enormous opportunity right now. And I'm going to talk about that. Now, for you who don't know, what is Good Natured Products? Well, basically, it's a company that produces different kinds of packaging and plastics that is based on plant-based materials. Basically, you could buy bioplastic food packaging that is for food containers of different kinds and for bakeries. And then we have compostable takeout containers. They're actually 99% plant-based materials and no BPAs or phytalates. Home and business products up to 90% annual renewable plant-based materials. And then stretch wrap, to name a few, which is a 51% plant-based and contains no chemicals of concern. So really good stuff comparatively what's out there. I've done a few videos on this company already, but it was a couple of months ago. But there's one that actually goes into this deeper. So take a look at it up here. Now, first of all, I thought we'd talk about what they did year over year, just quickly here. And they had some incredible results. They went up about 65% year over year to 16.7 in revenue compared to 10.1 million in revenue. Gross profits really look well to 80% increased from 6.2 million to 3.4. The adjusted EBITDA non-GAAP measures loss was about 1.5 million compared to 1.4, and the company has an overall loss. This is not strange since it is a small disruptive growth company, right? So if we take a look at a 6-year period here from 2015, you could see the way it's actually grown up like crazy, or basically blown up like crazy. You can see the gross margins down here, looking really attractive. And then what about if we take a look at their Q1? And actually their Q1 report is coming now in a couple of days, so stay tuned for that. But we did get some preliminary results, which I think they will be able to handle and maybe even beat. But they actually got a revenue that is expected to be about 8 million, which is an increase of about 160%. compared to 3 million year over year. That's amazing results. Take a look at here. If we say Q1 2018, 1.1, then 19, 2 million, then 23 million, which was during Rona, right? And now this whole year, this Rona is still very active, right? 160% to 8 million. And that's incredible results. And I do know that, as you know, they got about 16 million in revenue for just the whole last year. Already the first quarter, about 8. And I know so far they've been talking about that they will get the very least, they will double their revenue for this year, 2021 to 32. But we're going to get to that and talk about why that's probably going to be a lot more than that. And the reasons for that, why they're probably going to do more than 32 million, which is still over 100% increase, right? Is that one of their whole business deals as a company is that they don't only, I'll show you here, they don't only grow organically? Well, that's one of their two-pronged growth strategy. I can't speak. I'm sorry. Been sleeping like 3 hours tonight. But organic sales driven by land and expand sales strategy, traditional attract new customers with leading assortment offering, and direct sales teams, cross sales to maximum customer account, and so the story goes. But one of their optimal ways of growing is acquisitions, right? Kind of like what Tattoo Chef has been doing as of late with the New Mexico facilities. So what they basically do is that they go into a company, they buy it up, they acquire it, and then let's say that company were making these kind of plastic containers, these plastic cups, and as you know, traditionally they contain BPA or phytalates, things that are not very helpful for you. So they replace the whole process in the factory, the whole process in the way you create things, you use different materials, which would basically be plant-based materials instead. And then they get this much healthier product. But the smart thing is here, obviously, that then they use their diverse customer base and their offerings, but with these healthier for you products. So it's a really smart idea. And in the last half year or so, they've actually acquired 2 new larger companies. And now they've gotten an even bigger, I believe, which is called the X-Tech Plastic. And what is so fascinating about this, remember, last year, the company, the Good Nature Products, they made about 16 million. Now take a look at this company in itself. This company in itself actually had a revenue, if we take a look here, X-Tech's had a revenue of $26 million. And in Canadian dollars, about 33 million. That's very impressive because the company that just added also, the IPF's trailing 12-month revenue was $17 million. So that is a huge difference. So like I said, they were planning to get about 32 million in revenue this year before they actually acquired this. So how much could that be? Could we see another, maybe it's hard to believe that they would actually get 25 directly. But again, we're talking about at least, I would say 10 to 20 million in revenue extra per year, and maybe more. And one of the key highlights here with this acquisitions, besides the 25 million in revenue, is that it adds 105 business-to-business customers, growing the company back-to-back segment to a total of approximately 600 customers. Now, that is huge, right? Adds between 11 to 13 million dollars of total assets to the company's balance sheet. What I also like is that the current management team operating X-Tech will be joining the Good Nature team. So people already know how the business works, right? So can help them around. It's just really smart, I think, to keep the expertise in-house. And my understanding also from this is actually a company that they have been doing dealings with for many years as of late. And they're actually taking a piece of Good Nature. They actually get quite a large amount of stocks in the company. So my understanding is that they have about 5 million shares in Good Nature. So they have been basically dealing with each other before. So they feel good about it. And I think this actually looks interesting. I'll talk more about why I think this company is under the radar. But there is actually one more thing that I wanted to mention, and it is that they're getting Canada's first compostable, microwavable plant-based packaging to address proposed ban on single-use takeout containers. And this is large news as well. And why is that? Well, if you didn't know already, Justin Trudeau, Canadian Prime Minister, has suggested, or I think it's actually going to happen, that there's going to be a ban on single plastic items in Canada by the end of the year. So imagine then that you have a company like Good Nature Products that basically makes plastic similar items, right? But they're made by plant-based products. I mean, it's going to be the perfect time and place for a company like them. Because the good thing with these containers that are used for the microwaves is that they are designed to be compostable and are made from 97% plant-based materials and contain no chemicals of concern that could have been potentially harmful to human health and the environment. So again, something that I think is really huge. So one of the reasons why I think this company is kind of a steal right now, one of the best penny stocks out there, no doubt, is if you take a look at their market cap, it's about 201 million, right? But if we take a look at the PE ratio here, right? The price to sales, 12, folks. I mean, that's because they're counting what they had last year, which was about 16 in revenue. But 12 for a penny stock, a growth company, a disruptive growth company, that's incredible, I think. If you compare it with Else Nutrition, BABF, right? That's a really interesting company too. I'm going to talk a little more about them in the future. It's a baby formula company. But right now, they're trading at, I think, about 120 or 130 in PE's ratio. Remember, Tesla is normally around 20-22. Beyond Meat right now 15 to 20, off and on. It switches quickly. And as I would say, the only one that's usually a little better than this is Tattoo Chef. But Tattoo Chef is a much larger company, right? And this is a small growth company that has the opportunity to just like explode. Considering the times we live in, I think this is incredible, the PS ratio of 12. And that is when you're counting last year's revenue. But if we think about the near-term future, that's a whole different story, right? Because if we do believe that they're going to get about 32 million, which before this new acquisition with the X-Tech company, then if the stock price wouldn't move, which probably they will, but if it wouldn't move, that would make it a PS ratio of 6. And my God, that is incredible. And now this new acquisition, if we put in, it's supposed to have a revenue about 25-26 million per year. So that would be added on the company, right, and on Good Natured. But so if we try to just slim it down, I'll just say that it gets about 10 to 15 million right now. That would be almost about, between 40 to 50 million in revenue if we try to, slim it down right now. So we're talking about a PS ratio between 3 to 4. We're talking Amazon numbers here, right? So I think that's an excellent deal for a company that has the potential to actually change the whole industry. And also, one of the reasons I feel that it's so attractive for being a penny stock, most penny stocks, smaller companies, some plant-based companies out there, we know they're quite volatile. And we don't really know how some of the smaller ones are going to perform. But this one, I would say, is beyond safe because it is very diversified when it comes to what kind of companies are actually going to buy their products. They're diversified through 5 sectors: packaging, general merchandise, commercial and business supplies, industrial, and services. What does that actually mean? Well, imagine whatever happens in the world, right? Like a pandemic now. It's been a pandemic for a year, but they've still been exploding, right? 65% year over year. And then Q1, 160%. I mean, they're not touched by it. They're untouchable at the moment, right? Because no matter what happens in the world, if it's a pandemic, if there's a global economic crisis, there's always going to be different companies from different sectors that are going to use these kind of plastic items of different variations, right? So I would say they're golden. They're situated in a golden place where they could actually always thrive. And that's what I really like about this company. And as we know, which is common today, same thing here with the Gen Zs and millennials, right? They're age groups today that when they go out buying food, right? Even if they would buy food that is plant-based, healthy salads or so, and you buy it in a typical plastic container, yes, you don't usually eat the plastic, hopefully, but you kind of do, whether you want it or not, because when you have food in a plastic container, that plastics, they will actually somehow in one way or another leak into the food, right? Which means that when you're consuming that salad, or maybe it might be fish or meat or whatever, you're going to get part of that chemical structure inside of you, which is not healthy in the long run, as we know. So that's a generation, that's Gen Zs and the millennials. They're people who are more aware of what's going on with their health, with sustainability, with the animals, and so on. So when it comes to having an opportunity where you can actually get plastics that is healthier for you, better for you, that will have no concern in your health, I think people are going to change this, which is going to get companies that buy these packaging containers to think, right? That they want to offer the best for their customers, right? So I think it's a really smart idea, and I think this company could go really far. And again, folks, if you haven't seen my videos on them, take a look up here, and I'll put them down in the description as well, and in the end title. Well, folks, that was it for today. I truly hope you got some value from today's video. And if you did, make sure to smash that like button and help me out. And if you want to keep getting more information regarding Good Natured, Beyond Meat, Tattoo Chef, The Very Good Food Company, to name a few, make sure to subscribe. And don't forget that very important bell button. Thank you, folks, and do not forget, this was not financial advice. This was just my own opinions and thoughts. It's important to do your own due diligence and invest safe. Have a great Tuesday, and I hope to see you soon. Peace out.